Live.
We're live. It's like I'm surprised. Hello everyone. Hi.
We're doing
So
things a little bit differently today.
we're mixing it up. We normally record the Polytoxic podcast. Hi Ben. We normally record the Polytoxic podcast on Riverside if anyone wants how the sausage is made. And tonight we were like, you know what? We didn't have time to record this weekend. We wanted to make sure the Oscars happened so we could talk about it. So we waited and then we were like, why don't we just go live? So that's why we're live. And we were hoping to have some people join us and tell us their thoughts as well. So basically the topic today, the title of tonight's episode is watching the Oscars amidst a dying empire. Heavy,
The whole
but
the whole
real.
evening felt like a fucking funeral to me. I don't know about you, but it just felt very bleak and sad and that it had no energy to it. And
None.
I felt nothing the entire night. I know it sounds crazy where I watched almost all of the movies
Yeah.
that were being celebrated. I'm a movie buff. I love them. I love going. I did not feel the energy. And I mean, maybe it's because we're in the midst of World War III or
Yeah.
that the treasury is being raided and looted. I'm not sure what it is, but to me, it felt different this year.
I felt the same way. And if you look at the numbers, the ceremony, like in the late '90s, regularly drew like 40 to 55 million viewers, depending on the night. Like the 1998 ceremony, there was about 57 million people tuned in.
Wow.
And in recent years, it's gone from down to 17 to 21 million, 20 million. Anyone in the chat can tell us, I don't know the exact viewership from the other night, but it was really low. And it was the last time that it will be playing on network television. It's going to YouTube
Right.
next year. So it was a funeral for the way a show has always been presented to the world. And I think it says something bigger to me about shared culture. And I'm
Yep.
thinking a lot about, yes, not everyone has been included in the shared culture, right? It's always been very much white people in the culture who have been put on the screens. I believe that we are getting better. And of course, there was a big pivot with this latest administration. And we've gone backwards. And we really had a long ways to go for better representation, but we've fully gone backwards in terms of that. And the lack of a shared culture, though, is scary to me because we're so fragmented as it is. And, aside from like Super Bowl, Oscars, like award shows, I know they're corny, but no one's tuning into the same TV shows anymore. We're not watching the same news, obviously. We're in different algorithms. And again, I'm not trying to romanticize the Oscars. I know they've always been problematic about who gets celebrated, but there is something about us all watching the same thing and talking about it and processing it. What do you think?
We're looking at culture, right? Celebrity culture is dying. They are
Yeah.
not popular on social media. Many of them, almost everybody in the evening was silent. They did not use their platform to
Oh my
say
God.
anything.
Can we talk
You
about
know,
that? We need to talk about that.
Absolutely. So I watched the red carpet and I saw that the costume designer from Frankenstein wore an ice out pin. And then later in the evening, I saw more people doing that. But really, one of the
Yeah.
only people that I saw saying something on stage was the man that won for either Best Documentary or Best Documentary Short, where he talked
The
about
best
Putin.
documentary. Yeah.
Yes, and he used his space to do that, but not a lot of other people did.
Javier
And I think you
Javier
hit the nail on
Bardem.
the head with
Yeah.
it. Like you hit the nail on the head when we were talking before we started filming tonight.
Yeah.
And you think people are afraid, and I do too. But what's interesting about the Oscars is
Yeah.
watching Sinners, which was something like we've never ever seen in movie history. This was
Mhm.
groundbreaking. A female cinematographer won for the first time, a woman of color, which that's just
Yes.
insane in itself that this is the first time that a woman has won that award. But I want to
Yeah.
say that Warner Brothers is the studio that made Sinners, and Warner Brothers has been sold to the Ellisons, which are basically Trumpers, and they now
Yeah.
own, I want to say it's like 90% of our movie and our
Wow.
movies, our stations, all of this stuff. They bought up everything, and I don't think that they're going to be able to see any awards like that ever again, honestly, because
No,
with what we're looking at through this administration, movies like Sinners are not going to be able to made. First of all, I think
no.
they're going to withhold money from directors of color and writers of color,
Yes.
but they're not going to tell a story like that. My prediction is that for the next 3 years of this administration, as long as it doesn't go on longer than this, we're going to see a major shift to manosphere type of movies. We're going to see superheroes. We're going to see all American bullshit. We're going to see men
Mhm.
drinking beer and women with their tits out. And I really
Yep.
just look at what they did with the Kennedy Center. Like, our
Oh,
movies
yeah.
are going to go to shit now as well.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah,
Warner
I
Brothers is going
agree.
to have a really hard time getting any kind of awards in the future because I don't think that they're going to give opportunities to people with such immense talent. So
Oh my god,
that's my prediction.
there's I agree, there's so much to respond to there. Number
Yeah.
1, I agree, and I saw early on Twitter, I still go on Twitter to see what's going on, especially with the commentary about, like, pop culture. Someone said this Oscars is very Bush era coded, and
Oh, yeah.
I think yes, but you know what? And not but, Bush era coded and very McCarthy era coded. And what you're saying is if anyone I remember I took a class in, like, the history of American film, modern film in college, as one does, and I studied about how the 1950s, the films were just so like you were saying, very bland, not very risky because it was the McCarthy era and people were terrified of the McCarthy Red Scare and getting caught up in that and getting questions about things. And yeah, Marcus Flowers,
Yes.
good to see you
Hi,
on here and everyone else.
Marcus.
And he says the industry is in trouble. It sure is. And we're in
Definitely
trouble,
is.
right? It's very much
Yeah,
a
we are.
mirror about like the 50s movies were very much a mirror of where we were and how things changed was like you start seeing a change in the films in the 60s where it
Mhm.
started presenting a much more much less like
Free.
rainbow colored glasses America and world because of Vietnam, and the
Right.
protests of the Vietnam movement. But up until then, the film, and I'm concerned. I think you've just hey, you've predicted it. Like I think that's what we're going to see. Um, and because people are rightfully scared for their livelihoods, and if your entire it's not like they can just go to a new career, film is their career. So I don't blame them, but I do blame the fascists who've taken over our country and those who voted for them. And then you brought up the types of films we're going to see, and I saw Marty Supreme. You have not yet, or maybe not won't. So,
No,
like,
thanks.
here's the deal. I saw it like, I went to go see it, and when I first watched it, I did that I tend to not do this, but I sometimes like to just not think and just watch something. So I
Yeah.
watched it and just, like, enjoyed it as a movie. And then when I left and then processed it and talked to my friend Olivia, who I hope watches this later because I'm giving her a shout out, she was like, "That was such a proto-natalist, like, red-pilled film." And I was like, oh, right, because for one, David Mamet makes an appearance, and if everyone knows David Mamet, he used to be one of my favorites, film, directors, but, he is very much a Trumper. He has a cameo. That Kevin O'Leary, from Shark Tank, he has a cameo, and the film ends with his girl giving birth, and it begins with watching his sperm find its way um, to her whatever. So, um, he's so talented and I hate him. I know David Mamet. I know it sucks. It sucks what it sucks. So yeah, so it was very much a proto-natal. This is a film that we're gonna see more of, and I worry about how that's gonna affect young people, how it's gonna affect the culture, and that's why I'm glad that people have multiple screens now so that that is won't only be the only thing that we watch, and we need to push back on that, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we already see it in content creation.
Yeah,
This overswell of red pill content and trad wife content and telling women to leave the workplace and go back to traditional roles.
right.
It's going to feed over into film and music as well. I
Yeah,
mean, obviously, we don't like that kind of music, but
no.
you can already hear it in some of these, country songs that they're putting out, defending ICE and things like that. But it's going to trickle into every single
Oh, yeah.
um, area, and we're watching celebrities like Timothy Chalamet, whatever his
Toyota
name
Chevrolet,
is.
Toyota
He's
Chevrolet,
made
yeah.
a hard pivot right. He is leaning into the manosphere, into this macho look. And, I was really offended by the
Macho.
comments that he said about ballet for a multitude of reasons. One, because my mother is a ballet teacher, and I grew up in a ballet studio. But what really bothered me so much about it is because I know that his mother was a prima ballerina and so is his sister. And so hearing someone's brother degrade a profession and an art form that has been around before acting in fucking dumbass
Yeah.
movies,
Yeah.
I was just really highly offended by it. But then, there was all this Oscar buzz about this young man who was going to do so many things, and Marty Supreme won zero, zilch, didn't win
Yeah.
anything at all. And I was thinking about Timothy Chalamet and how this has happened and looking back
Yeah.
at his career, because when you look at the pictures from his earlier days, his hair is better, his style is better. He's a much nicer boy in
Yeah.
interviews and stuff. And I thought about this for a lot the last couple of days. Call Me by Your Name was an excellent film. And this
Mhm.
was an early one for him. And this was very risque, I think, for a young male actor, because I mean, like, look at how everybody reacted to Brokeback Mountain and
Oh,
those two
yeah.
straight actors playing these roles. I kind of feel like that was like a modern day version of this for a very young actor with a lot of promise, and he did an amazing job. And that was one of my favorite movies that he's ever done. But since then, he's just made this pivot to
Yeah,
this
yeah.
other direction. And so I think he's trying to actually distance himself from that because he doesn't want to be seen as that progressive or something. But I mean, I have to be honest. I was glad to see him lose. Whenever
Oh,
a shitty man
oh,
loses, I'm just
oh, yeah.
chef's
It's
kiss.
it's it's one more piece of justice for our, like, dying empire. Yeah, I mean, best
Yeah.
actor, Michael B. Jordan. Oh my god, and then he
Ugh.
did you know why did you find out I saw how he went to In-N-Out? He went there because they rejected his job application
And he went there with his
back in the
Oscar.
day, so he
He's
went there with
so
his Oscar.
beautiful.
He wanted to have a full circle moment. I love him.
I love him
Um,
so much. He deserves all of the flowers and all of the praise.
he
He played
does.
2 roles. I think he should have been up for Best Supporting Actor
Me
as well,
too.
because he played 2 roles in
2
that
roles.
movie, and it really just goes back to the conversation about how Black men and women have to work twice as hard to get the same opportunities and accolades as white actors, and
Yeah,
I agree with that, and I was just so happy to see him win, and I was disappointed that they didn't win Best Movie and
yeah.
Best Director, because I think they should have. I think they were trying to kind of like evenly divvy that out. But
Mhm.
all in all, I think it was a great night for culture, and watching them win, watching Misty Copeland
Oh,
perform
yeah? Oh my god.
and
Okay.
point and on point
Wait.
in front of Timothy
Yes,
Chalamet,
right in front of him,
whatever
and
his name
apparently he
is.
was
Oh,
standing up. Here, can we talk about that? I'm a big music person. I know, Marcus was, like, loving this conversation's not fun fact about me and Vanessa, like, you might know us because of all our political shit posting, but actually, and there's my mom. Hi, mom. Actually, Vanessa hi. Vanessa and
hi.
I actually don't only talk about politics. I think a misconception is that if you were to meet us on the street, and when people do run into us on the street, they do wanna talk about politics, which I'm happy to talk about most of the time. But talk to us about movies, music. I mean, I make a killer playlist. I pretty much, like, could name every song. Like, let's have a trivia night.
I call
And
her
I think
DJ Sari.
yeah, yep. I think it's so important, and we said this, we called this when Trump 2.0 started. It's so important when we're living in fascist times that we dig deeper into our culture. That is a
Yes.
form of resistance that we need, and some of the greatest art that comes out of a society comes out of these hard times,
Yes.
and that's why these studios are conglomerating. They wanna push back against this, but you know what's so awesome? We're the ones who subscribe to the culture, right? They can try to suppress our votes, they can do all that stuff. They can't stop us from going to those plays, going to those shows, going to the movies, streaming them. They can't stop us. It's people
Mm,
power. So,
no.
I'm all about talking about pop culture.
And it's like whatever they're trying to stop us from seeing and viewing and hearing and watching and all of that stuff is exactly what we should be leaning into. And just like
100%.
to kind of take off of what you just said, our creativity and the way that we process this is so important because as we know, we can't trust the news. The news has
No,
been purchased up by these billionaires. They are not showing us what's going on in Iran. They're not showing us what's going on with our own
no.
tax dollars. And I am really looking to what everyday people are saying about what's going on, what they're creating, the things that they're drawing, the music that they're making. And those are the things that we need to connect to and we need to keep alive. And we need to like those things and share those things and support anyone who is putting themselves out there right now during this time. It's a really vulnerable thing. And I just want to shout
Yeah.
out to anyone who is using their voice or their pen or their guitar or typing, whatever it is that you're doing to fight back against this and not obey in advance has my full support. So I'm
Yeah,
so
me too.
happy to see people still able to create because, like, to be honest, I'm having a hard time doing it right now. I don't
Me
really know
too.
if I want to make videos. I'm like, does it even matter if I'm doing the
I
videos?
know.
And it's not about views or likes or anything like that. I'm in this space where I'm like, does it even matter? But it fucking does. And we
Yes, it
have to
does.
keep doing this because if we stop doing this, that's when this all ends. When we stop saying no, when we stop pushing back, when we stop making memes, when we stop doing lives like this and talking about it, that's when all of those things go away and we're
Yeah,
giving them a run for their money. They tried to tell us that California was going to get attacked by drones, and everybody immediately was like, yeah, fuck no, that's not really
but
happening. We know what you're
no.
trying to do. And I'm just so thankful that I have a community that, like, we have a very similar community, but that so many
Yeah,
people in my orbit are just saying, "No, we're not doing this. Fuck that." Oh, did we
yeah.
freeze?
Did we
Huh?
freeze? Are we still frozen? I hope
Are
you
we
can hear
there?
us. We're gonna
Hello?
keep going. We are gonna only we let's go for a little longer because I wanna talk about culture and you brought yes, brilliant. That's my girl. This is what we do. I wanna think about think about this, right? They know I'm just gonna call them the fascists. I'm sick of saying their names. They know how important culture is because what's what's one of the love you, mom. What's one of the first things that Trump did? He put his name on the Kennedy Center, and he tried to take and he did take over the Kennedy Center awards, the honors, something that my parents watch every year. I don't know. Um, and, you know, think about why he did that. Why did he go for the Kennedy Center?
Mm. Same thing as why they're going for the news stations. They wanna try and control everything, and they want propaganda pushed, they want their messaging pushed. We know that they're very upset about how, regular accredited news channels are responding to this bullshit whatever tour he's doing in Iran,
Yeah.
and he threatened to charge people with treason if they were writing stories that were unbecoming of this administration. We're at alarm 10, guys. Like we don't
Yeah.
have much further to go. So I think
No.
it's important that everybody remembers the seriousness of this moment and uses your voice while you can.
Yeah, Laura says because the Kennedys are liberal, uber famous, and most of them are beloved, unlike him. Yeah, and you can
Mhm.
see it's like as the Countess Luann from the Real Housewives of New York sang, "Money can't buy you class." Does
Can't.
everyone know that song? It can't, right? And I think the Trump administration and all his acolytes are proving that it doesn't buy you class. And just look at the split screen that we're gonna see on his birthday. Because I really this is actually what I'm asking any artists, people who work with artists out there on June 14th, or
14th
is it July 14th? July 14th.
June. It's June
Is
14th.
it June 14th? Right, because that's when he had his
I know someone that shares the same
ooh,
birthday, unfortunately.
ooh, okay, so on June 14th, he is going to not be just a happenstance, right, that on his birthday, he tried the military parade. Remember that last year? Well, now he's going to do, it was I wish it was best
Is it the UFC
exactly.
fight? It's a
Like the
UFC
UFC
fight?
fight.
Is that what's
He
happening?
he's doing the UFC fight. They're gonna be, like, digging up the lawn there to do a
Ugh,
UFC fight on the White House lawn. I mean,
it's
it's like,
disgusting.
isn't that the scene in Idiocracy? Like, I need to rewatch, but, like, I don't even think they dared even do that in Idiocracy.
I
And
just
it
feel like they've
isn't.
sucked all the respect out of the White House, out of the presidency, out of anyone holding office.
Yeah,
I honestly just feel like it's a big fucking joke now.
it
Like,
is.
I'm still upset about the East Wing, and I'm so thankful that I was able to visit there literally like 2
Yeah.
months before he tore it all
Yes, you
down.
did.
But, I'm reading all these things about how he wants to take out the pillars in the front of the White House, the
The
4
columns.
pillars and the columns in the front, and building a stadium around the
What?
people's house, and I'm just like, "Could we be any more
Yeah.
white
Oh, yeah.
trash?" Like, seriously,
No,
could it
no,
be
that
any more white trash? I
yeah,
don't think so. It's just as
no.
bad as WWF or E
Whatever, yeah.
wrestlers, fucking Linda McMahon on the education board. It's just like, we are
Oh,
so
yeah.
trashy and disgusting and not respected, and anyone who thinks this is cool, I'm like, "You're done. You're out of my
Yeah, nothing
you're
is cool
done.
about it.
You're out." I don't respect anything about any of it. It's
We
just
we need
foul.
we need to have a June 14th counter thing, though. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
what we
we
need to.
think about June 15th and then think about the 4th of July, which is the 250th
Oh
anniversary of America,
god,
and
oh
I wonder what the
god.
fuck's gonna be going on there. I mean, hey, we might get a nuke that day, you
Oh,
never know.
seriously.
Maybe they really wanna show some fireworks that
Happy
day. I mean, I'm
birthday.
I'm I'm a little bit nervous
No,
about
me too.
what they plan to do. We cannot trust these people, and they have no problem spending billions of dollars of our money a day,
To
so
bomb
it's
people.
sure to be a bang.
It's yeah, literally,
I'm
hopefully well,
gonna
hopefully
regret
not
saying that
literally. We
later.
have to oh, yeah, oh, yes, thank you, Laura. But,
Yes.
speaking of kings, NK3, March 28th. We
Yep.
are both gonna be in our respective cities, wherever we decide to be, representing. We all need to flood the streets. I don't know why we didn't flood the streets after he, started an illegal war, because he called it a war that night, so it's a war. Number 2, um, I don't know why we didn't flood the streets when they released the Epstein files the way they did, so disrespectfully. I've yet to by the way, can we start talking about that again? Because a lot of us stopped talking about the Epstein files, but, like, I don't know why we didn't flood the streets then, but we sure as hell better flood those streets on March 28th. I hope you're all with us on that. Like, I I mean, I will say too, um, the kids are have entered the chat. Um,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of student groups now in New York City that are organizing for No Kings. I saw lots of young people turn out for the ICE protest that I was a part of like a month ago in like the -5 weather. Like, let's do this, right? Um,
Yeah.
oh wait, that's great. You're right. Okay. Pivoting back to the chat, speaking of celebrations, so we're gonna celebrate America's 252nd with tribunals. Is it wait, someone do math for me.
I think it's
2028.
250. It's
No, but I'm
250
saying
years, right?
250 years, but I'm saying we have to wait a couple years to actually celebrate America because the 250th, we're under this regime. So in 2029, how many years is that from now? Can someone do math? Okay,
3
whatever. In a few years,
3.
we need to do a redo, and it's gonna be war tribunals in his stupid ass ballroom.
I want a guillotine. I want people dragged out of the
2030.
White House. I wanna see any Democrat running for anything saying that, like,
Yeah.
sincerely, like, I wanna know that they're gonna tear down his name off of everything. I wanna
Mhm.
know that there's gonna be trials. I wanna know that there's gonna be arrests, and I think anybody running should be saying
That's
things like
yeah.
that if they want support.
I want ceremoniously stripping his name down from everywhere. Like, tear it down. I just
Everywhere.
my life. Yeah.
Tear
Everywhere,
it down.
right?
Tear it down. I
Tear
want
down that
Mar-a-Lago
tear down that
gone,
wall.
gone, everything. I want it gone and erased, but that's what they did with Hitler, so I feel
Yeah.
like we have a chance.
Yeah, Nuremberg type
Nuremberg.
shit.
That's right. That's
Seriously.
right.
Actually,
More hardcore than Nuremberg.
hardcore.
Like,
More
I
hardcore.
we cannot return as a society with any of these people walking the streets when this is done.
No.
Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem, fucking Greg Bovino,
Greg Bovino. The
uh,
DHS who's the guy
what's
who's
his name? Pete
oh, Pete
Hegseth? Like,
Hegseth? Yeah.
Every single one of them needs to be
JD
arrested.
Vance.
All of them. Every single one. Arrest them all. Burn to the ground. Start
Yeah.
over. We have so many problems. We need to fix this shit.
Wash it out. Make America great
That's
again. Make America great again. Literally.
right. Ugh. You know what's creepy is kind of off topic of this, but
Yeah.
I am watching the Murdoch family documentary on Netflix. I have one more episode tonight. It's only 3 episodes. Um, this has been in play since Reagan was elected.
Yeah.
So there is pictures of Roger Stone as a young man with like black hair
Oh,
in
yeah.
the Oval Office with Reagan and Rupert Murdoch.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so much like Succession, the show. Like it's really insane. But this has been going on since I was a very, very, very small
Mhm.
child. And it's
Longer.
kind of
You're
crazy
right.
to see where it's still
Really,
going and
really.
where we are, but we're at the end. We're at the
Oh, yeah.
end of the
Th
line of democracy.
this was
I
like
seriously feel
John
that way.
Birch. This is John Birch Society. This
Mhm.
was, what's his name running against Johnson in '64, Goldwater. I mean, Reagan, yeah, they have been doing this, they have been planning this and plotting this for decades, and
Decades.
they can have their
And we're
250th.
there.
We're there. They can have their 250th right after LBJ, exactly, the whole Goldwater into John Birch Society. Let them have their 250, let them have their trashy ass, tacky ass fight in front of the East Wing. We'll be doing something cooler, the rest of us. But yeah, they're gonna
Let's
let
make
I
sure
mean
it's the lowest rated event
oh,
of the
yeah, 100.
century.
I
Turn
just
the
wanna
TV off.
yeah, literally,
Turn the TV off.
yeah, do not watch it. Do
Bleh.
not subscribe. Yeah, so, I mean, that's about it. I mean, so, like, we came on here to talk about the Oscars we had and oh, actually, I wanted to say one more thing about the Oscars. I don't know how many of you saw, One Bad After Another. I enjoyed it because 'cause I'm a PTA, Paul Thomas Anderson, Thomas Pynchon appreciator. I wrote all about it on my Substack. I know there were some very legitimate, uh, critiques of that film, how Black women portrayed, etcetera. That's a different conversation. I'd like to have actually a Black woman discuss it with us because I don't wanna speak for that,
Yes.
but we wanna at least amplify that. But I will say that the way they ended the Oscars, goes along with the theme of tonight's chat, which is like, watching the Oscars amidst a dying empire, because essentially what happened was at the end okay, close your ears if you don't know the end, but I'm just gonna give spoilers.
Spoilers. Spoilers
Spoilers.
ahead.
At the
Spoilers
end of
ahead.
one at the end of One Battle After Another, Sean Penn's character, really he was basically they're just these, like, white supremacists, and their club was called it's basically the KKK, but they called themselves the Christmas Adventurers Club in this fictional depiction, and at the end, Sean Penn does his crazy, ICE stuff, and he gets rewarded with a corner office, like, the Great Christmas Explorers Club, Adventurers Club is like, "Thank you for all you've done." And they give him
He thinks
his
he's made it. Like, he thinks
he's
he's
made it,
made it. He's made it. He's got his corner office.
and then he looks up, he kicks his feet up okay, really big spoiler. Kicks his feet up, looks up, there's gas. And the way they ended the Oscars was Conan, they wrap it, and then he has the same thing happen to him. And then, they change his nameplate to Mr. Beast. 'Cause YouTube because YouTube is taking over, and I
It's
was
true.
thinking the whole time I mean, like, because I would say, like, the low light for me of the Oscars, which was, like, the most depressing part, but the thing I walked away from was, like, Barbara Streisand singing "The Way We Were" to Robert Redford and the tribute to Rob Reiner. I can't even wrap my mind around that to this day. All the other people who died, um but Val Kilmer, Diane Keaton, who else passed? Oh my god, so many people. Robert Duvall, right?
So
The
many
list goes on and on. It felt like it really I don't know what you all think in the chat, but it really felt like such a year of loss, and it's kind of like that end of an era feeling. It probably felt the way people a bit older than us felt when they started seeing, like, the Bogarts and all the great Hollywood actors of the earlier days passing. I feel like Robert Redford, Diane Keaton, Val Kilmer, all of those people are so like the actors we grew up with. And there's some great ones today, but I can't really think of them of that stature who like Robert Redford used his platform for good. He started Sundance. He's always spoken out about justice, just the way Paul Newman, who passed previous, a couple of years before him. And I feel like it really is an end of an era that way. Barbara Streisand as well has always been very outspoken. And and then just knowing that the Oscars is going, I know times change, but there was just such a feeling of sadness. I mean, I was bawling my eyes out watching Barbara Streisand. I don't know about anyone else, just me.
I think we're just looking at a change in everything going forward, like for years and years, people talked so much shit on content creators and people that do the same type of work that we do. How could we be taken seriously even though we're writing scripts, we're producing, we're editing, we're acting,
Mhm.
we're doing our own hair and makeup, we're doing all of these
Yeah.
things, and a lot of social media is vertical entertainment, and we're seeing the studios flip to this model.
Yes.
We're seeing journalists who were fired from these, major networks, and now they have become us. They became
Yeah.
become content creators, and they're doing their own
Yeah.
independent journalism on their own channels and doing all of these things. And I think watching the Oscars, it felt like a death because we
Yeah.
are really looking at a different age of information, of artistry, of, the way that people are getting things. People aren't reading as many books as they used to because they have a
No.
Kindle. And I think we're just reaching this next point in society where we're going to be fighting AI and things like that.
Ugh.
So, if there are any other award shows, I would love to see some of these actors who are getting paid millions of dollars and getting endorsements, and their faces are on buses and buildings
Mhm.
in Los Angeles where I live. I hope they're aware that they are this close to being taken out by AI and that they use their platforms and
Yes.
their celebrity to actually use it for good instead of buying Birkin bags and,
Mm.
ridiculous houses that people don't need. I would love to see the change in celebrity culture
Yeah.
to them coming back to doing things good. Nobody wants to see this gross amount of wealth when most of the people in the United States can barely afford gas, rent, and
Yes.
groceries right
Yes.
now. And I
Yes.
think that's what we're seeing with you see a celebrity pop up on threads and people are like, "The fuck are you
Ugh.
doing here?"
What are
Like,
you
we
doing?
don't want to hear that. Like, we don't want to
No.
hear from you unless you're saying
No.
something to speak out about what's going on. Because let me tell you, in a Great Depression 2 scenario, in a World War III scenario, in a nuclear bomb scenario, nobody's going to be going to the fucking movies. So,
Thank you. Thank
Hollywood,
you.
Hollywood, better pay attention because you're
Yeah.
about to get taken out.
Yeah, because you're scared of not getting hired. Well, there's bigger issues right now. And you got your houses, you got those. Yes, there are many people hold up the industry who don't have that. I think we need to understand that. There's many
Yep,
working actors who are not the ones you
yep,
see on the billboards. We're not
yep.
talking to you. Get
No,
yours, be careful, be
no, we're
safe,
talking
get
to the
paid.
people on the buses. We're talking to the people on the covers of the
The ones
magazines.
like
We're
living in Malibu who've made it,
exactly,
who don't even have to
exactly.
be schlepping. And
Harry,
oh my god,
yep.
hello, Harry. Yeah,
How
like
was
all those.
Annapolis? We hope you had fun today in Annapolis. I saw your
Oh,
thread.
yes. Yeah, but that's the whole
One
thing,
of our
like,
friends coming in.
we're talking about, yeah, use your platform. There's midterms coming up. Help candidates like Harry Dunn.
Exactly.
Help, right? And, like, in the presidential, please use your platforms. In the 2020 election, we had so many celebrities speaking out. 2024, it dwindled. We need your voice, right?
We do. Marcus Flowers, I saw your comment. When you come to Los Angeles, give me a call. Let's go get some lunch.
That's amazing. Thank you for
Yep.
speaking with the actors. Yeah. And we all need to come together. That's the point. There's all these people fighting online, even on our side, right? Let's come together, people. I understand there are big issues that are dividing us, and it's important that your voice is heard. But I think we need to really like I'm a high school teacher. Let's get it together, people. There's a big test coming. It's called the midterms. For me, it's the APUSH exam on May 8th. So if my students are watching, that's our focus. But once we get past the APUSH exam, AP US History, the focus is the big test of our democracy. It's the midterms.
Yep.
And
Yep.
any problems you have with people in class, let's get it together.
Listen, I've said this on podcasts before, and now I'm going to say it on our own. The way that the right beats us is because they vote together, they stick together. They might not like each other, but they all know that they are working towards a common goal. And right now, we're working against fascism. So I would love
Mhm.
to see everybody on our side. We got to work
Yep.
together as a team. Otherwise, there's not gonna
Yeah.
be much left for us.
And then when we get the power back, then we can have those very important I'm not saying these conversations are not important.
100%.
They're very important.
100%. Yes,
But,
they
like,
are.
right now, it's like, "Hello, America," literally.
We're at the end of the line. They own Dominion, but no, not Dominion. They own all the voting machines.
Oh, yeah.
They're trying to pass the SAVE Act. We don't have time to fuck around anymore. So I hope
Nope.
everybody can
Yeah.
work together and link elbows, and
We're
understand that this is about the we, not about the me.
yeah.
The we,
We
all of
call
us.
it a dying empire, but we're not dead yet, baby. And,
No, we're not.
like in any good Hollywood movie, it's what is it? It's darkest before the dawn. I'm like, "I don't know."
It's darkest before
Darkest
the
before the dawn.
dawn, but 2 things in
And
life
we're a
are
dying
certain.
empire and, like yeah. What were
2
you
things
saying?
are
Yeah.
certain in life. The sun will always set and the sun will always rise. So, let's get back out there tomorrow and use your voice.
Let's do it. Now I'm inspired again. Thank you. Well, thanks
This was
everyone for
fun.
yeah, this was
Yeah.
so fun. Thanks for tuning in. We have a new episode every Tuesday. Kind of low key wanna do lives. What do y'all think? Like,
Hey,
we kind
maybe we'll
of do
just do a live next week. This was fun. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, and then it's just up there. So you if
Yeah.
you missed some of this, we start off by talking about I'm trying to figure out how to end this stuff there. We started talking about the Oscars, and of course, we ended up talking about how much we hate fucking Donald Trump and his entire regime because of course we do. Love you all, and we'll talk to you soon. And if you don't follow Vanessa, if you don't follow me, if you don't follow the Siren where you can catch this exclusively, please follow. And also you can listen to us on Spotify, watch us on Spotify and YouTube and other
We're
places.
on all the
We need to
social
we're
medias. We're on all
yeah,
the
and
social
also
medias
we're in
everywhere.
your faces all the time. So, thank you everyone. Thanks for supporting us and we love you all. Good night.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.